this front fork back in and the yoke just loosely, just to show you how I remove them from the bike. Now I know all you Bsa guys can do this in your sleep, but I'm sure there's somebody out there who appreciates seeing how I do it. And the first thing I do is slacken off the pinch bolts, and I remove the chrome top nut and I replace it with an old one I've got, which is a bit battered, because I've got to beat down on it with the hammer to get the shaft off the taper. I'm going to replace it with this one. And I just want to tap down gently to get the inner shaft off the taper, which is up here. So I do it with the soft mallet. There it goes. And now and out comes the shaft. I'm now going to strip this fork leg and check out the bushes and just see how much play there is in the shaft itself. Well, I've got this near side fork in the vise now, and if I pull and push on the shaft itself, you can see there's a load of play in that. So the bushes must be knackered, and I'll have a go replacing those now. Well, Bsa used to seal these shrouds with twine, but this has obviously been off before, and they've used PTFE, which is what I use nowadays, and you can see that. Now there's a circlip inside here which needs to come out, and then the whole shaft will pull right out. Well, there's a little recess in the casting there which allows you to get a probe in to get behind the circlip, and I won't tell lies, it's very tricky, so I'm going to have to put the camera down while I do this, but there's a circlip in there which needs to come out. I can just get behind it there, just get behind it there, as you can see. So I'll have to put the camera down now and see if I can get that out. Well, I finally got my little metal probe underneath the circlip, and I'm hoping with a good pull it's going to come out of the seat there. There it is, just flown across the workshop, but I'll find it. There it is, and that's the trickiest part of the job actually. Well, there's the fork slider, and all I need to do now is put some paraffin and some steel balls in there and give it a good shake and clear out all the crap which was preventing the oil from draining from the drain screws there. I'll do that in a moment. Well, I've got the second shaft strip now, and I've noticed there's a thin shim on this one. There was no shim on the other one, but I've got a full set of shims here, so I'll be able to measure this one and replace it, but I'll put a shim on both sides, make sure they're both the same. Well, the new bushes have turned up, all brand new, and I'm going to fit them to the shaft and just put them into the slider just to see how much they've tightened up. But before I do, just out of interest, I'm going to measure the old ones and the new ones and see what the comparison is with the amount of wear. Okay, well, I'm measuring 23 thou there difference. I'll do that again in a different rotation. Well, I've spent some time measuring these now, and that's the old bush and that's the new bush, and there's about 40 thou difference in those, a little bit less on the top bushes. This one is the old one, that's 20 odd thou, something like that, as close as I can measure it. But you can see the difference in the shafts. These are the old ones, and that pops in quite easily, and it's pretty slack. In fact, it's very slack. But the new one is really difficult to get into the slider. It doesn't want to go right down to the bottom, so I think that might need to be eased slightly, but it's virtually rigid in there now. So that's where we're at the moment. Well, this is one of the new bushes I bought, and it's a perfect fit onto the end of the shaft, but it just won't go down into the slider. It just binds up really tight at the bottom, so plan is to just put it into the lathe and just give it a polish till I get a nice fit into the fork slider. Well, I've polished the bushes and they're working fine now. The next job is to prepare these for powder coating, so I'll put the little plugs, drain plugs back in, and I've got these couple of these old shrouds or oil seal holders, and I'm going to put them on now just to protect the threads from the powder coating. Well, I've gone as far as I can go with these now. But for the moment, work stops on these. I need to get these sliders over to the powder coaters with the rest of the other parts. So I won't do the build up until I've got everything back from powder coating and I'm ready to rebuild the forks completely. Well, everything's back from the powder coaters now. Been back a week or so really, and it's time for me to finish off this video on the rebuilding of the front forks. And the first job is to I've put some bolts in here and ground off the studs so that I can hold that in the vise without damaging the powder coating. And then I need to remove the these oil seal holders and chase all the threads to make sure everything's ready for rebuilding. Well, this is the slider where the wheel spindle goes. It's a 9/16 by 20 left hand thread, and I've got a tap for this, so I'm going to chase those threads now sooner than struggle when I need to get them on the bike. Well, as you can see, I'm ready now to rebuild these forks. I've got everything I need here. The oil seal holders, little tool for knocking in the oil seals, there's the oil seals, the circlips, 2 new sets of the cups and racers for the headstock, the little nuts that go in the bottom of the forks. I've got 2 of these, and I've made sure that they are a nice fit, so they'll screw into there quite nicely, and all the bushes are ready. The 2 nuts that I put in there, all they did was to chew up the jaws in the vise, so I've made a bracket now which will hold this firmly in the vise. All the threads have been cleaned, and I'm just going to clean out the seating for the clips, for the circlips, and I'm going to attempt to measure the distance between the top of the top bush and the circlip to see if I need any shims in there. So I'm going to do that now. Well, I've got the circlip in and I've got the bush in. I just use the stanchion as a guide, help get the circlip in. I just need to see if I can get a feeler gauge in there between the bush and the circlip. I'll check that out now. Well, this is 2.5 thou, and it just won't go in there. It's solid. I'm quite happy there's no gap between the top of the bush and the circlip, so on this leg I'm not going to bother putting a shim in there at all. Well, that's the full set of fork shims, which you don't need, and I'm just going to put them away for another time. Well, I've finally got the circlip in. Took me ages, a little bugger of a job, but it's in now, and the forks are working fine. I'm happy with that. Little tight spot there, but that will wear away in time. Well, this was the fork stanchion that had the tight spot. It wasn't much, but just enough to feel it, and I've had it in the vise and run my Scotch-Brite over it and polished it a bit, and as you can see, it's a perfect sliding fit now, so that shouldn't give us any trouble. I think what may have happened in the past is somebody's gripped it in the vise and just coated it, picked it up a bit, but as you can see, it's fine now. If you're going to put it in the vise, this is no man's land, so that's not too bad there, but never put this area in the vise. Well, one of the trickiest parts of this job is the circlips. Everybody knows that, and I've ground down a couple of old screwdrivers and filed a little recess in the top, and hopefully they'll grip the circlip and without them flying across the place. We'll give it a try. Well, that's both fork legs finished now, and as you can see they're sliding very nicely, both of them. And this one, well, both of them, there's no play whatsoever in there now, so they're fine, they're ready to go back onto the bike. The powder coating was well protected, these little plates did the job nicely, and the next part will be the top and bottom yoke with the bearings, and then I'll get these fitted and trued up.